Greetings. Welcome to CIBER Focus, your source for international business information. My name is Christopher Rice, and our guest today is Dr. Fadi Kattan. Dr. Kattan is the Dean of the Shucri Ibtahim Dabdoub Faculty of Business Administration at Bethlehem University in Bethlehem, Palestine. He has studied in the United States and United Kingdom and teaches accounting here at BU. He served as Dean since 2000. His research focuses on management, accounting, contingency theory and its effect on accounting, and development implications of the Oslo Agreement. Fadi, to start out, could you tell us more about your background? How did you end up at Bethlehem University, and what interests you in business education?
Well, we have to go back in history and start from the early beginning when I was educated at Bethlehem University. I attended my first degree. I attended the business school at Bethlehem University. That was a very enriching experience. And I finished the first degree when the university was closed at that time because of a military order, an Israeli military order. So there was no operations on campus, and that's when I got the scholarship to go and study in the United States. Went there for 2 years, and while I'm studying, I was given and offered a job at Bethlehem University to come back and teach, and I accepted that offer. And I'm back, very interested in working with young people all day long. Working with young people make me feel young all the time. I can easily say that I'm so happy and excited to see young people benefiting from the experience we're sharing with them, see them develop and have better lives because of our influence in their path. I think that is the value of what we're doing, and that's what makes me stay here.
You've served as Dean for almost 20 years here at Bethlehem University. What inspires you, and what have you tried to accomplish during your time here?
Well, the major inspiration, the major reason and motive, let's say, for what I do here is the need for young people to get better education. Palestine is in a great need for quality education. We're in great need for our young people to stay around and to work here and to develop their businesses here. And that is basically the reason for me to stay. I think that over the years we've accomplished many things through different projects similar to the one that we do with Indiana University. We've provided better opportunities to our students. We provided them with opportunities to travel abroad, to experience foreign cultures, to work with foreign students, as we did in the past with different projects with other universities around the world. That is basically the main reason for coming to the university on a daily basis, to see change in the lives of young people.
We had a workshop today here at BU on creativity and innovation in education. What do you see as the key takeaway points from the session today?
Well, first of all, let me say that this workshop was very enriching. The good thing about it is that it put together people coming from different backgrounds, people that we usually don't meet with, people that we don't work with on a daily basis, people coming from different disciplines, coming to our school, working with our faculty members. The most important result of this workshop is to make everyone start thinking that this idea of innovation, creativity, entrepreneurship, it's not all about money, it's not all about business. It could be implemented in any other discipline. Okay?
It's a way of thinking.
It is a way of thinking, it's a way of attitudes toward change. How can we make this place a different place? A better place, hopefully. So by people talking together, brainstorming together, I think we ended up with very successful conversations this afternoon. And that was the reason to have this workshop. To bring people together, make them think together, because we all face the same problems, regardless of the discipline. Okay? In the past, before going into this project on entrepreneurship, people had this idea that entrepreneurship is something for profit. It's something for starting a business. It's something for business students. Let them deal with it. Now, after today's workshop, I think people will start thinking, let's cooperate, let's work in teams, let's do things in a different way, and let us work together to support our young students to have a better life. So that is, to me, the main outcome of this workshop.
Wonderful. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about the students.
It is all about students, and in order to entice students to think differently, first of all, we as faculty members have to think differently. I cannot ask students to work in teams, teams of students coming from different backgrounds, if faculty members from different backgrounds are not working together. So this is very important, and I think we succeeded doing this the whole day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
BU has recently made large strides toward developing its entrepreneurship program as a whole. Can you tell us about why entrepreneurship is important for youth, and also beyond just business disciplines, why it's important?
Okay. Well, first of all, one of our major tasks at the university here is to open gates of opportunity for young people. Palestine is facing a high unemployment rate. So it reaches 24-25% in the West Bank, and could even be higher in the Gaza Strip. So we've worked for over 45 years training students to become job seekers. Now we started thinking a few years back, let's do something differently. Let's try to make our students job creators rather than job seekers. And I hope we can succeed in that. If we end up having few new businesses, if we have students graduating with a different mentality, different approach to solving problems, to dealing with problems, I think we will end up having more job opportunities. We have better life for the communities. We can have businesses that solve problems within the community. We can even have social businesses. We can have improvements on a daily basis. So that is basically the idea, to help reduce unemployment in Palestine and to change the way our students perceive their future. They think of their future as I'll find a job and I'll go there and stay in that job forever. This doesn't work. Just to give you an example, the first year, the freshmen, as soon as they come in, we give them an orientation session. I met with them. It was like 150 young students, newcomers to the university, and I asked a question. Okay, what will your future look like? Let's have a poll. It was a random sample of the people attending, the young people, 18 years old, and I picked 10 and asked, okay, what do you see you doing in the future after graduation? And most of the 10 said, I will find a job. Okay? So that was the trigger. That was the beginning of a conversation. Now, let's think of other possibilities. Is there any other possibility for a university graduate? I think, of course, there are many opportunities. If you get the education you need, regardless of the field, okay, you will learn the techniques, you will learn the sciences, whatever field you're in, but you might also come up with good solutions to major problems in the country. Let's work it out and come up with a business plan, for example. So it's good to start teasing the students, to push them start thinking differently. And that is what we're doing in the last 4 or 5 years.
So if you are a French student or a biology student, how can you use entrepreneurship in your career?
Yeah, the idea is about thinking of the problems that I'm facing, thinking them with an open mind, bringing all the possible ideas from colleagues, from team members that can help solve the problem. It doesn't have to be a business. It doesn't have to be producing something to sell it on the market. Even thinking of problems at home. I need to solve a problem. I need to be creative in solving a problem and do a certain task in a very simple way. Let's think about it. Yeah. So it's changing the way they look at a problem, they deal with a problem, they solve a problem. And I think that is useful not only in a business environment, it's useful in every single aspect of their lives. So that is basically the idea.
The political situation here makes conducting business particularly difficult. Can you talk to us about the challenges that young Palestinian workers face? You mentioned unemployment. What other challenges do they have in getting into the market?
Well, one important challenge is difficulty of mobility. Young people find it difficult to travel from one city to the other with all the obstacles that are again a result of a political turbulence and the political environment. Many of the students who come to Bethlehem University come from the southern part of Palestine that find it a little difficult to go and seek a job, for example, in Ramallah, in the north part of Palestine, because of complexity of travel, etc. So mobility is an important issue. Mobility not only affects students or graduates or employees, it also affects us and businesses moving their product from one place to the other. Marketing becomes an issue, distribution becomes an issue. So there's so many issues resulting from a political environment. Importing stuff from abroad is not easy. Exporting to other countries is not easy. There are all kinds of restrictions imposed by the occupier in Palestine. There are so many restrictions imposed by different agreements. What is permitted to be imported and what is permitted to be exported? What's the quantity to import? All these complications become like obstacles in the eyes of young people. And of course, even with these obstacles, we still can survive. We can always come up with different ways of doing things. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we're trying to tell our students to start thinking of. Now, forget about these obstacles. Yes, they're there, but let us think of ideas like we were talking this afternoon. Bring ideas, forget about the obstacles. We'll deal with the obstacles later, So that was an important message, really, even for us on campus, to develop a certain program. Forget about the business, forget about the product. We need to develop a program. What's the best way of doing it? Let's brainstorm and bring ideas. Do not discuss the obstacles. Forget about the obstacles, So this is a learning process that actually will influence people even to overcome the obstacles that are imposed externally by this political turbulence and this political environment.
Do you see any differences in the obstacles for employment in the south of Palestine rather than the north?
Well, in the problem of Palestine after the Oslo Agreement, the distribution of the jobs in the job market is a little different than expected. We expected that jobs will be everywhere in all different cities, but unfortunately, all of the good jobs are centered and located, concentrated in the north, in Ramallah, particularly because Ramallah is becoming like a capital, the political capital, the temporary capital, let's say, of Palestine. So all organizations, big employers are located in Ramallah. So in the south, it's mostly family businesses. So it's rarely that an employer would employ somebody who's not a family member, for example.
So it's hard to tap into.
It is hard. It is difficult to find jobs in the southern part, okay? Because most of the businesses are small businesses, family businesses. Orientation is different. It's not the corporate style of a business. But in Ramallah, you'll find this big difference.
Fadi, thank you so much for coming in to speak with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to have you in Bethlehem as well.
On behalf of Indiana University, thanks so much for a series of wonderful partnerships with us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
That's all the time we have for this edition of CIBER Focus. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any comments or suggestions for future topics, please let us know at CIBER, that's CIBER, CIBER @indiana.edu.